In the 1920s, a man named Victor Lustig managed to sell the Eiffel Tower twice. Now, how does one sell one of the most famous landmarks in the world? Well, Lustig, a master con artist, did it with a mix of charm, wits, and a forged government letterhead. He convinced a circle of scrap metal dealers that the Eiffel Tower was being dismantled due to costly maintenance. Lustig played his role so convincingly that he even staged an auction at a fancy hotel. The highest bidder, André Poisson, believed he was getting a deal of a lifetime and handed over a fortune. But Lustig didn't stop there. He repeated the scam, selling the Eiffel Tower once again before the law caught up with him. His audacity in pulling off such a daring scam was simply astounding. Lustig's audacious scam set the bar high for con artists to follow. Fast forward to the 1920s, Charles Ponzi promised investors a 50% return on their investment in just 45 days. Now that's a promise that would make anyone's ears perk up. But let's take a step back and understand what exactly a Ponzi scheme is. In essence, a Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors. The scheme generates returns for early investors by acquiring new investors. This is similar to a pyramid scheme in that both are based on using new investors' funds to pay the earlier backers. So, how did Charles Ponzi pull this off? Well, Ponzi claimed he could provide a 50% return in just 45 days by buying discounted postal reply coupons in other countries and redeeming them at face value in the United States. Sounds too good to be true, right? That's because it was. The truth of the matter was that Ponzi was paying early investors using the investments of later investors. The scheme eventually collapsed when he could no longer attract new investors, and most of the money was never actually invested. In the end, Ponzi's scheme defrauded hundreds of people out of millions of dollars. It's a chilling reminder of the lengths some will go to for financial gain, no matter the cost to others. Ponzi's scheme has become synonymous with financial fraud, setting a precedent for many scams to come. In the era of the internet, scams evolved too, and one of the most notorious is the Nigerian prince scam. It's a tale as old as the web itself, and it starts with an email that promises a vast fortune, but there's a catch. You see, the money is tied up in bureaucratic red tape, and the sender, usually posing as a Nigerian prince or a government official, needs your help to free it up. Now, you might wonder, why would a prince need my help? Well, that's the genius of the scam. The narrative is carefully crafted to tap into your empathy and your dreams of sudden wealth. It's a psychological game of chess, and the scammers are the grandmasters. They promise you a share of the millions for your assistance. All you need to do is pay a small fee or provide your bank details to help with the transaction. But of course, there's no prince, no millions, and that small fee? It's money you'll never see again. The scam might seem obvious to many, but to the hopeful or desperate, it's a lifeline. And that's what the scam preys on: hope, desperation, and the human tendency to see patterns where none exist. Despite warnings, the Nigerian prince scam continues to claim victims, showing the persistent allure of easy money. In today's digital world, scams have become even more sophisticated, exploiting technology and human psychology. Let's take a closer look at the modern-day scams, the invisible traps set up in the digital jungle. With the rise of the internet and social media, scams like phishing, online dating scams, and cryptocurrency scams have become all too common. Phishing scams are a form of cyber attack where scammers impersonate legitimate organizations to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information. They exploit our trust in these institutions, often using fear or urgency to prompt immediate action. Think of it as a wolf in sheep's clothing, prowling the internet, looking for unsuspecting victims. Next, we have online dating scams, where con artists create fake profiles on dating apps or social media to lure in potential victims. They play on our emotions, our longing for connection, and our desire for love. These scammers weave intricate tales of hardship or love, drawing their victims in before asking for money. It's the age-old romance scam, just dressed up for the digital age. Then there are cryptocurrency scams. In a world where digital currencies like Bitcoin are becoming more mainstream, scammers are taking advantage. They promise high returns on investments, creating a sense of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Victims are lured into investing their hard-earned money, only to find out that the promising investment was nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Each of these scams exploits our human vulnerabilities, our trust, our emotions, our fear. They use the veil of technology to conceal their true intentions, making them even more dangerous. But knowledge is power. Understanding how these scams work is the first step in protecting ourselves. As technology advances, so do scams, making it more important than ever to stay informed and vigilant. From selling landmarks that don't belong to them, to promising astronomical returns on investments, scammers have always found ways to deceive. It's a game of smoke and mirrors, a dance of deception that has existed for as long as human history itself. We've journeyed together through some of the world's most notorious scams, starting with the audacious sale of the Eiffel Tower. Then we delved into the intricate web of the Ponzi scheme, a classic ploy that still manages to ensnare victims in its trap today. We explored the infamous Nigerian prince scam, a digital-era deception that plays on the heartstrings and the wallets of the unsuspecting. And finally, we looked at the modern-day scams that continue to evolve with our technology and our times. It's clear that the art of deception is ever-changing, morphing into new forms as society and technology advance. But the essence remains the same: exploitation of trust, manipulation of information, and the pursuit of ill-gotten wealth. This is why it's so important for each of us to remain vigilant, to question what seems too good to be true, and to educate ourselves about these scams. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's our best defense against becoming a victim of these cunning schemes. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Stay safe and stay informed.